So welcome back then to my next up close product video. Now in this video we are going to be taking a look at two new ranges of landing net from Wychwood Carp. So in this video then we are going to be taking a look at the Extremis 1 and 2 piece landing net and the Riot 1 and 2 piece landing net. So the Wychwood Riot landing net then, so this will complement the Wychwood Riot range of rods. So for just ease of the video and fitting the actual product sort of on camera, I'll leave the one piece in its bag. The two piece is absolutely identical, all bar obviously the joining section of the two pieces. Metal sort of butt cap, sort of etched Wychwood silver logo in there, and yeah, it's just a real nice sort of protective touch to the bottom of the pole. So when you're sort of standing it or anything like that on the bottom, it's got that metal cap there that will ensure that the bottom of the landing net pole is nice and protected. So everything that I show you feature wise, as I've said, on the two piece will be mimicked on the one piece. So moving up ever so slightly, you can see there that there is a nice section of high grip shrink wrap. So real nice gripped handle that you can grab hold of if you're having to reach out at distances to land a fish. You're having to push out as far as you can to slip that fish into that net. That isn't going to go anywhere. So if it's raining, it's wet, you know, you've got a strong grip on that, and you just know that however far that you need to reach, that isn't going to slip out of your hands when you're yeah, trying to land your fish. So yeah, really nice section of high grip shrink wrap. Again, moving up ever so slightly, got a nice big section of varnish there, two sort of black finished at either end, and again that sort of silver sort of Wychwood logo, which matches obviously the logo on that butt cap that I just showed you. A little bit more detailing underneath, but obviously with that being on the base, it just means that the graphics are just, you know, really understated, but a real nice subtle low-key Wychwood logo there, which just looks really nice with that sort of larger section of varnishing, and it just, yeah, just really simplistic, but looks, you know, quite classy. Now the finish on the actual pole itself on both sections is just a plain black finish. It's quite like a matte finish. There is no, you know, it's not really shiny or anything like that. It's quite sort of an understated black. So yeah, quite low key. And with that, like I say, with that little bit of varnishing on it, it just, yeah, it all sort of works together really. So on both of the sections, it's just got that real nice matte black finish to the pole. Now up to the sort of middle of the pole, and as you can see there, the spigot of the pole isn't sort of thin or anything like that. It's quite a nice thick size, nice decent sort of length to it as well. So when you actually slide on the sort of top half of the pole, it goes on nice and firmly with a good sort of inch or so, just to allow for a little bit of wear and tear on the spigot over time. But obviously that isn't going to slip out once those two have been pushed together nice and tight. So you can be sort of confident that, you know, those two pieces aren't going to come apart. So they both are finished again with that black sort of varnished sort of oversized finish on both ends, which obviously mimics again what's down sort of the lower end of the landing net pole itself. But yeah, just a nice size spigot on there, just to ensure that that goes in a good sort of, you know, 2 or 3 inches into the pole. And your yeah, fits, it's not going to rattle or anything like that. They fit together absolutely perfectly, snug as a bug. Moving our way up then to the sort of top end of the pole, you will see included on your landing net is an actual landing net sort of float. Now this is a nice large oversized float, quite a dense foam. I don't know if you can see there as well, really subtle and low key, just sort of embossed into the foam itself is the sort of Witchwood logo as well. So again, not blazoned with logo in or really standout detailing, just really subtle, really low key, but yeah, just adds another little sort of classy touch to the landing net itself. Now, some of these sort of landing net floats I've seen in the past, you know, they don't grip the pole tight, they're sliding up and down, they've got bits of Velcro sort of here, there and everywhere. But like I say, this is a nice dense foam, it fits the pole nice and snug, it's, you know, really tight around the actual pole itself, so it isn't going to go slipping down or anything like that. So it's just a real nice snug finish, sort of complements the rest of the black of the landing net pole. And yeah, although it is, you know, a simple part, a simple feature of the landing net, it's just, yeah, finished nicely, and yeah, just looks smart on the pole as well. So moving up to the very top of the pole itself, another good section of that sort of black varnishing, nice and thick. And you can also see a metal sort of thread attachment. Now that is where your sort of spreader block will screw into, so it's not plastic or anything like that that could, you know, just wear away over time. But yeah, nice matte black finish, thread attachment that will yeah, definitely withstand a bit of sort of using and abusing. Next up then is a moulded spreader block. It's got a little slot in there if you are looking to put in one of the really small sort of little isotopes. The thread on it is actually quite a decent sized thread, to be honest. I've seen some that are quite short, they end up rattling over time. The thread sort of just works itself loose, and yeah, the sort of head end, the spreader block end of your landing net just becomes sort of, you know, unusable basically, because the landing net is just sort of flopping up and down. So nice length of thread there that will screw nice and deep into that metal thread on the top of the pole. So it also goes down nice and flush against the sort of base of that thread. So yeah, no sort of little gaps or anything like that, just a real nice flush finish. Now the spreader block itself as well, this sort of little arch piece will allow you to also just poke the landing net through it, so it's not getting sort of skagged on the floor or anything like that. When you're trying to push the landing net out to a fish, you can just loop that landing net through that. It'll keep all that sort of excess net from being skagged or caught on anything as you're shipping it out. But yeah, just a real nice sort of simple finish, nice and thick, sturdy plastic. You know, you can feel the quality of the spreader block. It's not flimsy or anything like that, real strong finish to it. So let's get the landing net out and have a look. So the landing net itself, just looking at the net sort of up close, nice sort of olive green finish, really soft mesh, nice big holes, so really fish friendly, allows for maximum sort of flow through the landing net when you're shipping it out. So, and obviously retrieving it with the fish inside, so it's not going to be an effort to get the fish, you know, get the net to the fish, or obviously the fish in the net and back to the bank. So real nice soft fish friendly material. Now the poles themselves are really lightweight, and again, like the spigot on the pole, the spigot on, well, these sort of the arms on the sort of landing net, which obviously go into the spreader block, are nice and thick as well, sort of filled on the inside. I've seen hollow ones, you know, on other nets which have, you know, sort of collars on them, which do have the tendency to sort of snap where the metal meets obviously the arms of the landing net, so creating a bit of a weak sort of tension point, as there obviously is a bit of weight when you're lifting the net out of the water, etc. So this is just an all one piece landing net sort of arms, and again, like I say, with no weak areas, and like I say, the sort of arms themselves are filled just to ensure that the areas that are going to be going in and out the spreader block have maximum strength, to ensure that, you know, these aren't going to snap under any pressure. So just wanted to point out this little feature. Really, you may not even think of it as a feature, but I personally do. I try to look at everything that's sort of within the product. So just wanted to point out that obviously the material that runs the complete sort of top end of the net itself. A more sort of tight knit material, really heavily stitched along the bottom. So this is obviously going to be taking, you know, a brunt of the weight on, you know, these arms. So that real sort of strong reinforced stitch in there all the way throughout just means when you're sort of lifting the fish with the net, anything like that, it's going to be taking the brunt of the weight. So it's not going to be sort of coming apart, ripping or tearing. It's just a nice sort of stronger finish, and that's all that stitch in there is just going to ensure that none of this is just going to rip or tear under any sort of tension or weight. So yeah, just wanted to point that out, that it's not the same sort of material all the way through. It's actually got that sort of good few inches of reinforced material all the way through around the top of the net itself. If you can see in the middle there, sort of like that black design finish of the 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗟𝗨𝗦𝗜𝗩 logo, which isn't sort of sewn in or anything like that. It's just slightly different sort of coloration on the net, and yeah, I just think that looks quite smart, to be honest. You know, I don't know if the fish will appreciate it when you know, they're sliding over the landing net cord, but yeah, it just actually looks quite cool rather than just, you know, your plain sort of bog standard olive green net. So all in all, really nice finish to that sort of top end with the black float, the nice moulded spreader block, and that olive green black design landing net. So as I mentioned earlier, you can just grab the bottom of that net, obviously just pull it through, keeps all that sort of excess up and out the way. Obviously once the fish slides into the net, the weight of the fish will just kind of pull that down naturally anyway, but it just means that it's not getting caught on anything under your feet. So that is the 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗟𝗨𝗦𝗜𝗩 1 and 2 piece landing net. As I said, the one piece is exactly the same, all bar the landing net pole coming apart into 2 pieces. So I'll pack this one away and we can take a look at the Extremis. The 𝗘𝗫𝗖𝗟𝗨𝗦𝗜𝗩 landing net. So yeah, this is the creme de la creme of landing nets. Just getting it out and having a look at some of the features and the finish. Yeah, it is a seriously sexy landing net. Now again, just like the Riot, the 1 and 2 piece are exactly the same, albeit obviously the landing net pole comes into 2 pieces. So again, for just ease of demonstrating on the video, I'll use the 2 piece to point out all the features. So let's start from the bottom and work our way up. Just like the Riot, it's made of metal, but you will see a difference. This one is pointed. Now if you are one of those types of anglers that, you know, have to wade out to your rods or something like that, or I've seen people, you know, stabbing their landing net into the soft ground, having the landing net sort of pointing up with the fish inside it, etc, then yeah, the Extremis landing net pole has a pointed butt cap there, allowing you to sort of push it into soft ground to keep it nice and safe, whilst you're just making your way back to your swim, ensuring that yeah, this pole is secure in the ground and isn't going to go anywhere. Just like the Riot as well, it has that nice high grip shrink wrap handle. So again, if you are having to reach out for a fish at distance using the complete extension of your arm and the landing net, then that nice section of high grip shrink wrap handle there will ensure that you don't go dropping your landing net or slipping out your hand when you are trying to land your catch. Now just look at that nice black and gold finish, just like my rods. It's got the Extremis logo sort of underneath there. I don't know if you can see just because of the reflection, but the Extremis logo on the sort of underside. Again, just like the Riot design, just nice and low key sort of on the top there. Subtle whipping, subtle logos, but just that real nice extended sort of area of varnish as well. But yeah, really nice black and gold. Yeah, really classy. I said it about the Riots, but yeah, this just takes it to the next level. Now just to compare the sort of landing net sort of pole size, as you can see the Riot is actually slightly thicker than the Extremis. So the Riot on the top, the Extremis on the below. So as you can see, slightly thinner and lighter pole. It's got a slightly different finish about it as well. It's got that sort of wrapped, sort of taped sort of look to it. Just looks more sort of carbon looking finish, but yeah, really nice. But I thought I'd just show you the difference in sort of pole sort of diameter, like thickness. Really real nice tight snug fit with a good sort of inch or so left on there for just general wear and tear, which will ensure that that isn't coming apart over time. No rattling, anything like that. So it's in, and it's in firmly, and it isn't going anywhere. So real nice tight finish. Obviously at both ends of the pole, as you can see as well, you've got that nice thick layer of varnishing, and again that gold whipping that is sort of throughout the landing net pole as well. So moving up then to sort of halfway up the top half of the two-piece pole, you have this little section there, and you might be wondering what that's for. So that underneath there is a magnet. So there's some of that high grip shrink wrap there holding that in place, so that isn't going to go anywhere. Two real nice bits of varnishing at either end with that black and gold finish again. But yeah, under there is a magnet. What that will do, instead of on the Riot where you had the moulded spreader block where you could loop the sort of excess net through it, this magnet will attach to the magnet that is also in the net and keep all that excess netting out the way when you are shipping it out to obviously land your fish. So rather having the net pulled through the spreader block, this time there's a magnet on the pole covered in that high grip shrink wrap, and it will also magnetically attach itself to the magnet obviously on the net once it's in the spreader block that's obviously attached to this pole. So yeah, really cool idea, really nice, and like I say, just finished really cleanly as well. So again, just like the Riot, you're getting that nice big net float finished in the black with the embossed Witchwood logo. So again, a really nice finish. It complements the rest of the landing net. It's got this metal sort of circular type spreader block on this landing net. Now it's fixed in place, so it isn't going to twist or turn anywhere. It's got a nice bit of varnishing, that gold finish again at the top, laser etched Witchwood logo in it as well. And then on the reverse, depending on which way round that you want to put your landing net, there is a little slot there for an isotope as well. But yeah, it's just a real nice heavy duty finish. You can feel the weight of that spreader block. It's not thin or anything like that. It probably and more likely is solid as well. But yeah, it's metal. It's finished absolutely beautifully. Obviously the landing net poles will just drop into place on the two holes on the top of the spreader block there. But yeah, it just adds another level of sort of classiness to this really nice landing net. So let's get the net out, let's get it into the spreader block, and yeah, we'll have a little bit of a closer look. There we go then, the net again in that nice free flowing soft fish friendly olive green material, really nice and soft. I mentioned it about the Riot, but again, it's just, you know, it's just so nice. It doesn't feel cheap or tacky at all. Down on the end of the landing net itself, nice thick caps on the pole which will slot nicely into that metal spreader block. So really nice and thick, not flimsy by any means, really well sort of attached to those poles. Just a real nice clean finish. So I'm looking forward to seeing just how nicely they slot inside that spreader block. Nice and lightweight arms again as well, so you don't want anything too weighty, you know, down at this sort of top end, just making it an absolute nightmare to obviously land your fish. Now, as I was mentioning about that that little magnet attached to the top end of, or the top sort of section of that pole. The magnet is also sewn in to the bottom of the net as well, and if you can see, that just attaches itself to the net. So I just wanted to show you really the arms of the landing net. They just fit really nicely into that circular spreader block. It's just a sort of thinner sort of tip of the landing net poles that slot into that circular spreader block. So yeah, really nice clean finish, really sturdy. It wasn't sort of relatively easy getting them in there, which means that, you know, they've gone in nice and snug and they're not going to slip out, even though only, you know, best part of like a centimetre or so the thread actually went into the spreader block. So knowing that they are going in nice and firmly means that once they're in, they definitely aren't going to go anywhere. Exactly the same as the Riot as well. Look, if you look in sort of like the center of the net, it's got that sort of black sort of colored logo finish to the front sort of facing of the net itself. And look how that magnet, sort of like the net just sticks to that magnet, with the magnet sewn inside the bottom of that net. Keeps all the excess out the way, allows you to slide it out, and once the fish sort of drops into the net, that magnet will just pop down as the fish sort of lowers itself down into the net, and you've got a nice big drop on that net, nice and deep, to yeah, ensure that the fish is in there and in there safely. But yeah, I really do like that little magnet there at the bottom that just attaches to the pole. Real simple but really clever idea, and just a real neat finish to it. Now, one other thing I just wanted to point out about the net as well is those reinforced corners. It's on both sides, and again it just adds another little sort of touch, another little feature that will just ensure that this net will just withstand the test of time. So a really nice net all in all. If you're looking for yeah, a real sort of classy upmarket packed full of features net, then yeah, I definitely recommend that you take a look at this one, because yeah, I'm no tart at all when it comes to my fishing gear, practical over anything, but yeah, this is one seriously sexy landing net. That was a look at the Extremis and Riot landing nets, new from Wychwood for 2022. So if you have any questions about the nets or anything like that, feel free to stick a comment below. But yeah, I hope that gives you a good insight. If you are in the market for a new landing net, then yeah, I hope one of these two tick the boxes for you. So as always, feel free to like, subscribe to my channel, check out any of my other videos, and I will catch up with you guys very soon.